In Uganda here, the government itself has no target. The ministers have no target. And really, you must be sympathetic that you give NRM ministers targets, you will not sleep. They are not people that you can give targets. They are just there. Because Museveni ministers cannot do anything. They first do calculation. Is the president happy with this? You will not have ministers making decisions.
A few days back, Honorable Ssemujju Nganda came out to reveal that most cabinet ministers in Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's government are not qualified to be ministers or even headmistresses of a nursery school. We all remember when Nabanja swore in as the Prime Minister. Among the first people who came out to say that he's not qualified was Honorable Ssemujju Nganda. He was indeed right. If you look at the caliber of the past Prime Ministers we've had in Uganda, you cannot put Nabanja close to them on the way how parliamentary and cabinet business is held. So Honorable Ssemujju Nganda came out to reveal that even other ministers are not qualified to be ministers in Museveni's government. And in this episode, I've come to talk about why Honorable Ssemujju Nganda is sustaining the attack on Museveni's ministers, what it means for politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagali. There is a lot of content of this nature. If your politics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. I dedicate this video to Rashid Seguja, a political prisoner who has been in cancellation for more than 3 years. So during an interview, Honorable Ssemujju Nganda came out to reveal that indeed General Museveni's ministers don't qualify to hold any ministerial position. And he came out to say that if a cabinet minister cannot be an ED or a managing director of a small company, it does not qualify to be ministers. And I think that is correct, because a ministry is like a big company of a country, where targets are supposed to be suited and made. So if a cabinet minister cannot head a parastatal or head an organization, he's not fit to be minister. Before I speak on this, let me first give you the tape when Honorable Ssemujju Nganda is saying this. Here's the tape.
In Dubai, every year has a very huge function to celebrate achievements of public enterprises. They give them targets. They're supposed to compete with private companies. When they surpass those targets, there is always a function. I've attended 2 of them. They reward them, but also the MDs of these parastatals are moved from one parastatal to another depending on their performance. In Uganda here, the government itself has no target. The ministers have no target. And really, you must be sympathetic that you give NRM ministers targets, you will not sleep. They are not people that you can give targets. They are just there. Because Museveni ministers cannot do anything. They first do calculation. Is the president happy with this? You will not have ministers making decisions because they never make them. But also the environment, because you see, the parastatals attracted some of the best people in the market because of the way they were paying, but also because of some independence they enjoyed. Ministers who can't distribute iron sheet, now you tell them to run parastatals. It's going to be chaos.
So that is Honorable Ssemujju Nganda, and I think he's right. 95% of all ministers in General Museveni's government, they cannot hold a credible intellectual debate. In fact, most of them, you see them on television talking nonsense and you feel like you are ashamed as a country. There are some ministers who cannot hold an intellectual debate for 2 minutes. Yet they are the same people who are appointed to head a certain ministry. Most of these ministers who are picked by General Museveni's government, if you look clearly, they are ministers who have come for a second term or a third term. He normally recognizes every person who comes for a third term or a second term in the NRM's government. Most of them are appointed ministers. So they are appointed not because they are credible or competent, but because they keep on winning for the NRM and the rest in their respective constituencies. And I think this is a problem to our country. This is why the country is continuing to degenerate. Okay? But also I think General Museveni does a disservice whenever he picks such people who are incompetent. They leave most of the work to him. These ministers cannot even tell the president on how he should go about the work of a country, because everything is done by General Museveni and family. So Honorable Ssemujju Nganda was right. And going forward, General Museveni is becoming older, and the more the person becomes older, the more intellect he loses, the more grip of how society should work decreases. So we are heading to turmoil in the near future because of this mess which was brought by General Kaguta Museveni. Of course, that's my opinion. Do drop me your comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.